This video is going to end when Chris Paul wins a ring. We might be here a while. Chris Paul is 37 years old and an 87 overall, and this is just the normal Suns roster. The first season we went 46-36 as we made the 6th seed. Chris Paul averaged pretty much his normal numbers, about 11 points and 10 assists. In the first round, we were facing up against the New Orleans Pelicans. In this round, we ended up getting destroyed in a gentleman's sweep, and we were already out of here. And looking at player progression, we had some improvement from DeAndre Ayton, and CP got one worse. Let's just get into the next playoff run. Well, there won't be one. We didn't even make the play-in. Okay, this is off to a rough start, to be honest. A first-round loss, and then not even making the playoffs, and Chris Paul is down to an 83 overall. This is probably going to be pretty tough. After this next season, we were able to get back up to 46-36, the same record as the first year. Chris Paul's numbers were up a little bit. In this first round, we were facing up against the Minnesota Timberwolves. It was a 4-5 matchup, and we were able to take them to 6, but we ended up losing in that 6th game, and the Timberwolves actually won the ring. The Magic blew a 3-0 lead. The Timberwolves had Damian Lillard. This was crazy. I don't know what was going on here, but hey, Chris Paul decided to retire on that note, so we're going to put the 2005 draft class in this league so that Chris Paul can restart and have another chance at winning an NBA championship. And with the first overall pick in the 2005 draft, well, this is what, like 2024, 2025, whatever, Chris Paul ended up getting drafted by the Sixers. They had a good team on paper, but these guys were pretty old besides Tyrese Maxey, so it might be kind of rough, especially in the later years. We really need to make this ring happen in year 1. Chris Paul was the Rookie of the Year. He put up great numbers, better numbers than he was putting up when he retired, but we only won 27 games. I mean, I know some of our guys were old, but I don't know how we couldn't even crack 30 wins. After the first season, Kawhi Leonard was down to an 80, although CP was up to an 87. In his second year, he averaged about 20 and 10, a really good season, but we lost even more games, well, one more game, but you know what? It's tough, man. Kawhi Leonard decided to retire at an 80 overall. Joel Embiid continues to get worse. Chris Paul continues to get better. So it's really on Chris Paul and Tyrese Maxey to make this happen. Chris Paul was All-NBA third team in his third season, averaging about 25 points and 11 assists. Also, if you enjoy the videos, I'd really appreciate if you consider subscribing. But despite this, we once again weren't in the playoffs. This is off to a great start, man. Anyways, Tyrese Maxey ended up leaving, so now it's just CP and Embiid, and Chris Paul was able to make All-NBA second team. He has a good resume at such a young age, but he's just not able to win so far. And I understand that he's young, but like, he's a 95 overall. We need to be able to at least get to the playoffs. This year we won 23 games. I hope that as soon as Chris Paul has a chance to leave, he does, because this team sucks. Embiid's getting worse, and somehow Chris Paul ends up getting the Defensive Player of the Year. I don't know who he was guarding, though, because, again, we're not in the playoffs. He averaged about 36 points per game. It was a great season for Chris, but, again, we were not in the playoffs. 29 wins. Can we crack 30 wins, please? He ends up repeating as Defensive Player of the Year, but I don't even want to say too much, to be honest, because although his resume is good, we can't crack 30 wins. Let's just get to another postseason. Well, there isn't really going to be a postseason. Y'all should know at this point, Chris Paul's not even going to get to the playoffs to have a chance to win this ring as we win 31 games. Wow, great progress. We have cracked 30 wins on the season. We have made a blockbuster addition, though, adding Jalen Suggs. Hopefully he can save the franchise, because at this point we're in 2023. Luka is a sixth man, and Chris Paul has not sniffed the playoffs once in his career. This is absolutely terrible. And looking at that Heat team, somehow Luka is a backup for Lonzo Ball. He won the Sixth Man of the Year. I don't know how that works, but anyway, we won 31 games on the season. Hopefully Chris Paul can just get up and out of here. This team sucks. We need him to get a change of scenery. He's finally off of his rookie max extension, and he decides to go to Houston. He went to Houston in real life, so I guess this is kind of realistic. I don't know, man. But we end up joining Scotty Barnes and an old Kristaps Porzingis, along with some auto-generated guys, and Chris Paul picks up right where he left off in Philadelphia. winning accolades and not making the playoffs. Giannis has retired at this point, and we have barely seen any playoff action from Chris Paul since we put him back in the NBA through the 2005 draft. He has not made the playoffs once. He is pushing 30 at this point, hasn't even seen the playoffs. He's all NBA first team this season, but does it really matter? I just want to see this man Chris in the playoffs. This season we won 34 games. That might be a career high for him. Bro, if I was him, I would say forget passing. Everybody get out the way. I'm just ISOing. It hasn't worked so far, bro. I would just be ISOing cross, tween, hezzy, pull up threes every single time. He's the defensive player of the year. He's good offensively. I don't understand how much more you can ask of Chris and how this isn't translating to any type of success. It doesn't make any sense. But we're finally here. We make it out of the play-in tournament for the first time. We are in the playoffs, man. We're here. I'm so ready for this. Chris Paul dropped 20 and 18 to make it here, but we are up against the number 1 seed as the 8th seed, so this is going to be tough, but hopefully we can make it happen. It's a 2-2 series, and we actually take the lead and end up winning in 6 games. Chris Paul drops 50 and 12. They didn't believe in you, Chris. They didn't believe in you. They didn't think you could do it. I didn't believe in you, but you're here. You're in the second round. We just upset the number 1 seed, and hopefully we can keep this run going against his former team from the previous career, the Phoenix Suns, and the Suns aren't even playing, man. They get off to a 3-0 start, and we end up losing in 5. After that really good first round, we get bounced out. Hopefully, we can at least make the playoffs again, as Chris Paul is named All-NBA second team at 31 years old. The clock is kind of ticking. This man is 31. But we can't even make the play-in this time, which is really disappointing. I mean, just look at the retirement class, and Chris Paul has yet to even make it out of the second round. Here we are, though. Chris Paul is a free agent. He has a chance to leave Houston. I thought he actually was going to, but he decided to return to the Rockets. And considering just how bad we've been throughout this tenure, I don't really think he should have returned, especially for 5 more years. But you know what? It's his decision, man. At 32 years old, he's All-NBA second team, and we're once again in the play-in tournament. We end up getting out of there again at a 41-41 record. We are here as the 8th seed against the Clippers. The series is at 2-1. They're up 3-1, and we get gentlemen swept. So this team continues to regress, and now I feel like things are going to get even more difficult for Chris. At age 33, we need him to turn it up if we're really going to have some success. Once again, we're in the play-in tournament, and we end up losing this time, not even making the playoffs. Just look at the retirement class, man. I really want to emphasize how long it's been, how many years we've simulated, and Chris has yet to get that ring. But this is the best season we've had yet. It's 2040, and we have put together a great year, winning almost 60 games. Chris Paul was All-NBA second, All-Defensive first, and we're the 2nd seed in the Western Conference. We easily make it out of the first round as Chris Paul's having a great playoff run, and then in the second round, it was a tough series against the Sacramento Kings, but we won in 6. Now we're here, the conference finals. We have a chance for CP3 to make his first NBA Finals appearance. We get up to a 3-1 lead and end up winning the series. We are here in the NBA Finals against a Pacers team that doesn't look that good. We have a real chance for Chris Paul to win this ring. Oh my goodness, finally, man. We need to get this ring. We end up getting up 1-0 in the series, 2-0, and Chris Paul is hooping in this one. Even if he's not scoring a ton, he's got the assist going. 3-0 series lead. Chris Paul drops 22 and 10 on efficient shooting, but the Pacers are able to bounce back and take 2 games of their own, but we win in 6 games. Chris Paul is an NBA champion. Finally, I can stop simulating because this took way longer than I thought. That's it for the video. Have a great day. Be sure to like and subscribe.